just be super clear and super genuine, and my personal boundaries, what I do want. I mean, the business could have been so much bigger, but there were things that were non-negotiables. Well, first of all, we really, really, really like each other.
So that's good. So make sure you really like your husband.
Yeah, make sure and that you can actually spend a lot of time with them.
Right.
Yeah, so it's just that resistance to putting yourself out there and being super vulnerable.
Yeah.
I mean, business in the sense of the way things happen.
Mm-hmm.
So if love means business, then love is everything, and you're doing business within those parameters.
Welcome to the Love Means Business podcast. On this show, we celebrate love as the beautiful, sometimes dangerous, and always powerful force that it is. I'm your host, Emily Green, an agency founder, business consultant, professional speaker, mom, wife, and survivor of toxic love. From the highest of highs to the lowest of lows, on each episode, we will explore true stories of dark love and how sometimes our personal struggles can lead to our greatest professional passions.
This episode is sponsored by the Love Means Business speaker support and referral community. This is a go-to space for thought leaders who are ready to get booked, get visible, and grow their impact. Inside, you'll find curated speaking, podcast, and media opportunities posted daily, a network of mission-driven peers from all over the globe, and monthly events designed to help you grow with strategy and support, not burnout. If you're ready to be seen, heard, and hired, join us. Visit emily-green.com and check out the Love Means Business page, or email me directly at emily@lovemeansbusiness.com for more details. Welcome everyone to the Love Means Business podcast. I am so excited to have Fabi joining me today. Thank you so much for being here. So Fabi helps leaders turn their wisdom into gorgeous, effectively powerful books and magazines. She's the founder of Spark Publications, a 29-year strong custom publishing firm that's helped hundreds of entrepreneurs and organizations share their stories and grow their legacy. Fabi has won so many awards, including the First Generation Family Business of the Year by the Charlotte Business Journal. You were inducted into the North Carolina Women Business Owner Hall of Fame. That's amazing. And nationally, a top woman in media by Folio magazine. Her firm has won over 350, that's right folks, 350, but who's counting? I mean, after 200, industry awards for their publishing projects. Her Ds are surrounded by her firm's creativity and a very talented team, which includes her husband, Larry, who we're going to be talking about a little bit today, awesome. And their daughter, Sophie, right?
Yes.
Fabi believes books and magazines are more than products. They're powerful tools for clarity, credibility, and connection. Recently, I had the privilege of being at Fabi's private birthday celebration called Art and Impact, where among 75 friends and family, she unveiled 3 new initiatives. Her new book, Wilted Worthy, which you have with you today.
Talk about
Ta-da! Her gallery of paintings, which were absolutely beautiful, and her nonprofit Radiant Chapters Collective. Just wow. I was just in complete awe after that event. Your art, your book, your nonprofit, everything was beautifully curated. You did such a great job with it. And wonderful. Everyone I've talked to since then has just been buzzing about it.
Oh, that's great. It was definitely a soulful celebration is what I've heard.
Yeah, it felt like that. There was this energy. But one of the things that, just to kind of get right into it, I wanted to ask you was, why now? What was the inspiration behind these initiatives, these 3 new things, and what made you want to do it now?
Well, it's that entrepreneurial thing in a sense. So I had a milestone birthday coming up, and my husband wanted to make sure that I was celebrated. And my husband's not going to really he's going to put all his heart and soul into it. So is my daughter, but they're really busy at work, and it's like, okay, I'm going to plan this for myself. So it's like,
I've been
what
there.
do I do?
Yeah.
But really, I had started painting 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago, and just started painting. I picked up my brush again and just started painting again. It probably had been almost a 15-year hiatus.
Wow.
Just was real busy and work. I love what I do. I love the clients I work with. It takes a lot of time. So, and then family, that was what I was doing. So I needed a hobby.
I need a hobby.
Yeah, and so I found that painting really allowed me to not have anybody tell me what to do.
Yeah.
No timelines, no time frames, no how to do it a certain way. It was whatever my expression was going to be.
Yeah.
And I did that for a little while, and then I thought, I need a project for this. So then the project became, for my 60th birthday, I wanted to do a gallery reveal, and no one would know that I had been painting in the meantime. And that's what I did. And then I thought, well, we've got a lot of paintings because I committed to doing a painting a month. A painting a month.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so...
Overachiever.
Yeah, so I did a painting a month, and some I did several paintings in the month. My husband's like, these are all great, but
that's a lot of
it's
paintings.
time for people to see these things, and we got to sell them. And I was like, I don't know that we can sell them. So I decided, okay, if we're going to sell them, then I'm going to use the proceeds for our nonprofit Radiant Chapters Collective, which was not launched yet. And so same thing with the book. So I decided, wrote and launched, haven't launched either one of them yet, but wrote the book, and everything was just kind of shared.
Yeah, it was like your soft launch.
It was a soft launch among friends so that it wouldn't be too brutal, because people be brutal.
Oh, I know. And I feel like there's a vulnerability to sharing artwork, just like sharing music or writing.
Yes.
How is it different to you? Because you've written so many books and you've helped so many writers.
Yeah.
How is sharing your art different than that?
The books, even though I don't consider myself, I'm not a writer. I'm an author, but not a writer. I know what good writing takes. But I was still in the field, and you can just really create something different with beautiful packaging and design of a book. But with the painting, it was something that no one's taught me. I didn't have any, applied skills. No one's told me if it was really good or not, besides immediate family that loves me.
You're like, they just can't trust them. I always say my husband's a known liar. He tells me whatever.
They're loving liars.
Yeah, loving liars. That's what I'm going to say from now on.
So they're not going to be the super critical people. Right. And I didn't want to put it in a big gallery because I didn't want to be told how I was going to do it and whether it was any good.
You want to express yourself.
I decided I didn't need to know if it was any good or not. But we ended up selling 4 paintings and commissioning 2. And not just 4 paintings, but 4 of the highest selling paintings.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So.
Well, they were beautiful, and I especially love them because I love nature, and I could tell you love nature as well based off all of your paintings. Yeah. But what was kind of the inspiration? Was it nature behind most of them, or what inspired you to paint some of them or all of them?
Colorful expression. I do love, the abstractedness of nature and flowers and the boldness and the pops and the textures.
Yeah.
So I incorporated all that.
Cool. Well, we're going to get vulnerable. We started off kind of teetering, tiptoeing into it. Now we're going to dive way in.
All right.
So on this podcast, we really focus on that intersection of love and business, hence the name, Love Means Business. The lessons learned and how that has fueled success. Today we're going to dive into your story with your mom and sister, which you did talk about at the event. You actually made me cry in a good way. So let's start with what caused you to cut ties and not talk for, 11 years, I think you said?
Yeah.
Can you kind of walk me through the events that led up to that?
my mom and I are obviously a lot alike, and that happens with, family members that you have very strong personalities. We've, as a family and individually, have gone through a lot of challenges, and we became deep survivors. And when hard-headed, strong women, deep survivors that don't want to be told what to do, headbutt, then it created some really big challenges.
Yeah, nobody wants to ever let up, right?
Well, you don't let up if you feel you are right, and being right at all cost is what is going to happen.
Yeah.
So there was no give, and I needed to grow up. I needed to raise my own daughter, and at the time, I felt it was going to be much better to do that, and the only way I could do that was to not have her in my life.
Yeah.
2020 hindsight, that was not the right decision.
It's easy to look back, though. And
it is,
and
know. But then it was, because I ended up learning a lot. But that was the catalyst for that. She had a lot of growing up to do. I had a lot of growing up to do, and it was best for both of us if we just did it, not in each other's orbit.
And I think a lot of people can relate to having complicated mother-daughter sibling, because I know you mentioned with your sister too, relationships.
Well, she was part of the package, so I loved her dearly, but when my parents got divorced, my dad needed me and my mom needed my sister.
So you guys kind of got split too in the divorce?
Yes.
That's interesting.
There was nothing else to split. We were it. We were all there was to split in the divorce, and looking back, that's kind of what happened.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that really touched me is just that when you were talking about that, and I could feel the emotions from you, and I was actually sitting next to your sister.
And in front of my mom.
Yes.
In front of you.
So I could feel it. I'm not an energy person. I don't claim to be that, but I was like, whoo, I feel some energy going on here. And my story, with my family and everything, I can relate, because when I had estrangement with my parents, and we still aren't close, my sisters at the time, they still worked for the family business, and they were still deeply tied to my parents. So if my parents didn't talk to me, then they didn't talk to me.
Yeah.
So it was like like you said, a package
deal. Yeah.
And that was almost more heartbreaking to me than my parents, because my sisters were my best friends.
Yeah.
Was it the same for you, or?
No, because part of the dynamic in my family was part of playing my sister and I against each other.
Okay.
But we didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I mean, because that would have been a really strong force. Mm-hmm. And
like if you guys teamed up.
Yeah. If we would have teamed up, life would have been so much different. But we weren't wise enough to realize that at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. So my family, I have two older sisters who are identical twins, 5 years older, and then I have an older brother. And my older brother somehow always just could see through the BS and got out.
Yeah, see, that's wise.
Yeah, and he wasn't part of the family business. He didn't get tied financially. He was just out. Yeah. And I don't know why he was able to do that so much easier than us, but we just weren't.
Because he wasn't a daughter.
That's what I was getting at. I feel like there is, because I've talked to other people about this, and there's a gender thing that a lot of people talk about, and I feel like with us, we felt more obligated in some way. Committed, to help the parents, to do what they said, to be good girls, to be obedient, and that unfortunately held me back a lot, and my sisters way more. It took them 17 years after I left to finally get out and start their own lives, and they're still rebuilding. Yeah. But it's interesting, that dynamic. Now, is it just you and your sister, or do you have any other siblings?
No,
just you two?
Two of us, yeah.
Yeah, so you talked about how that relationship was kind of used, they played you against each other. Was there, how did you overcome that eventually?
Well, I'm going to focus this more on my mom, because my sister and I, once, things reconnected with my mom, then it was easier for her not to feel like she was betraying my mom.
Sure.
So,
which is a strong thing. You don't want to betray your parents.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So my mom and I, she had sent a letter, and I didn't get the letter. I had it was trapped inside some junk mail and stuff down in between the the card
Of all
thing.
letters for that to happen.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
But it was timing, and so when I found the letter and it fell in my lap, first of all, it was like you could just feel like a soul shock. It's like, oh my gosh,
You knew you needed to read that letter.
I had to read it. And it said that she thought it was time for us to connect and have a conversation, and we did that, and it was like we made it public. Went to a very public place and sat in a public spot, and it was a 3-hour conversation where I think we both like ran cold and hot and sweat more than any human should have. It was very challenging.
I feel like I'm there. I can like feel how that would be. Yeah. Wow.
But we really worked at it. And was it easy? Not at all. Was it instantaneously? Not at all. It was constant. We decided to schedule time to speak every week.
Okay.
And at first we had to make each other do that. And even then there was some big game plays, when we did get together, old patterns would come up. So it was not easy at all. It took a lot of courage. And we're years into it now, and we still talk every Saturday morning.
So you have scheduled that time, and
yes.
I feel like that's a really good takeaway for anyone listening or watching.
Hold it sacred. And it's like, even if you're just like, God, what is she going to say now? Or what am I going to say? But now it's like we used to schedule it, for like 15, 20 minutes just to be able. And now we're, about 7 years, maybe a little bit more on that. And like this past weekend, we talked for an hour and a half.
Oh, wow.
And so we're just, there's always so much to talk about, and we're still peeling layers and exploring things, and it's absolutely beautiful.
That's awesome. I think that I would love that you said that takeaway, because I personally love things that I'm like, oh, I can do that. Like, that's something I can actually do. Yeah. But one of the things I think sometimes holds us back when we're having conflict, or can even create conflict, is we have like a tally of like, I'm doing more than this person.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I don't want to try because I've tried harder than this person, and they're not doing, you like keep score. How do you keep from doing that? Or what are some ways you've kept yourself from doing that to help with your relationship?
Well, set the intention of where you want to go.
Yeah.
And I wanted a frictionless, loving relationship.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say with my mother, but I think that with it being with my mother made it more challenging. So we've become friends.
Okay.
And she's a friend I can hardly wait to speak to every weekend.
That's beautiful, seriously.
So
that's really,
it's,
really good.
I think you would keep score if it was a game.
Yeah.
But if it's not a game and it's something that you desperately need, because there was a point where I'm doing all this amazing work, doing soul searching, and then I'm like, I don't have a relationship with my mother and my sister. I was like, what kind of horrible person doesn't have a relationship with people you were kind of born into this world to learn from?
I think you yearn for those relationships.
You do. And
so
I was finding them. And I was finding them with all these great girlfriends, and we called each other soul sisters and all that stuff. I was like, I have a sister I don't even have a relationship with. And so it it was touch and go, and then we had to back off, because you get hurt.
Oh, yeah.
With the tiniest thing said.
The sensitivity,
is off the chart. So just know that it's not easy going in, and you have to suck it up and just say, okay, am I misinterpreting this? Did she really mean that? And then the thing is to have the courage to actually talk about it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, when you said this, and there was a lot of everything under a microscope to begin with, because that's where we were. Hypersensitive.
Right.
And,
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that, why do you think that? I want to get your opinion on this. Why do you think people don't address things directly when they get hurt? Is it because they're afraid of making it worse, of like conflict, or why is that? Because I think a lot of things would not be blown out of proportion if you just said, hey, you said this and it hurt my feelings. Can we talk about it?
Or what I heard you say
Yeah.
was.
Is that what you meant? Like,
Yeah.
ask a question.
What I interpret that as
Yeah.
is that. And they're like, oh, no, I just threw that out.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And then maybe they did or maybe they didn't.
And if they own up to it, great. They can work through it.
The fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of not being loved, fear of screwing up everything you're actually trying to do and helping resolve something.
Yeah.
So that's where the courage comes from. The courage to go, gosh, that was kind of hurtful. Why was it hurtful?
Right.
You know, it's like, well, I'm not sure, but it didn't set right with me. And I have a friend, that's how she starts a lot of relationships. Now, this didn't set right with me. Yeah, so it's, just that resistance to putting yourself out there and being super vulnerable.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is that vulnerability, and I think a lot of people are scared of being vulnerable, and I think sometimes too you put your defenses up for so long because you don't want to get hurt by them too, that you have to like take your guard down and say it's okay to feel hurt.
I'm gonna get hurt.
Yeah,
this is gonna be
okay.
a hurtful situation for months because we're both hurt. We need to come at it and figure out what continues to hurt and what hurt in the past. And I did. I got to sit back and listen to interpretations of things in the past, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
That's not how it happened on this end.
Yeah.
At all,
yeah.
You know? But at least we get to talk about it. We did that with my sister as well. It's like, well, this is what I knew and what I heard and what I thought. And I was like, that's fascinating. Would have loved to have been that kind of person.
Yeah.
I don't know how to be that kind of person.
Right.
But just putting it out there. And I know that with my mom and my sister, we've actually had some really big laughs at the idiotness, if that's even a word.
Yeah,
just
no, I get
crazy
that.
of like, wow, you really believe that, huh? I was like, I did.
Yeah.
I did. But where I am now no longer believes that. So a lot of times we put ourselves in a way to protect ourselves, and it screws a lot of things up.
I've been loving, we have a group chat with my sisters, me and my brother now. And for us, like, we were all estranged for a really long time because of a lot of segmentation things were done with our parents. And I don't know if it was done intentionally or unintentionally. I'm not sure.
I don't know that they intentionally did it. It's always like from a point of survival, from a point of all they know how to do. I mean, when I really spoke with both of my parents about certain situations, and it's like, I remember my dad saying, he goes, my only goal was to be better than what my parents were.
Yeah.
And, you know, his goal, I mean, and just to cross that line was okay with him.
Yeah.
I wanted him to soar past it, but that's not what happened. So.
But I think it is when you start just being open, most people, now there are some irrational people that you cannot work through things because they're not rational. They really aren't. But most people, if you are able to communicate like that, you can get somewhere. And I think
if they want to.
If they have to want to, that was my point. It's a two-way street.
Yes.
And I know for my siblings and I too, they had to be the right time. Like, it took time for us to trust each other again. And it's been baby steps. Like, my brother's
least little mistake just blows it up, and you're like,
and then you're like, here we go.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it does. It takes so much time to rebuild that trust. And a lot of the things that hurt the trust or broke it were not things that actually happened. And that's been really, like you said, interesting when you start talking, you're like, oh, so you didn't actually do or say that? So I've been mad for how long about something that didn't actually happen?
Yes.
But then it makes you think, how many other times have you done this? Have you held a grudge or something?
But see, and I had spoken about that as the introduction at the event. It's like we all want a world of peace. We all want communities that interact and communicate and collaborate, but we're not even doing it within our own little tiny circles. Yeah. So if we could do that, take those steps of courage with just you and me, then with our, just keep spreading that out, and that became a way, but that is not our way.
Yeah.
That is not our way currently.
Do you feel like since you've mended things with your mom and your sister that it's mended stuff in yourself and it's helped you with other relationships.
No, I needed to mend stuff within myself before I can mend
So it
those
was the
things.
other way? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's because for me, I'm inserting myself here. I guess I was trying to talk for myself, but it's been weird because I feel like I've been healing myself kind of through this whole process.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I feel like my communication and my confidence with everyone else has like skyrocketed.
But you had to have a certain level of self-awareness and
That's true.
self-confidence before you can throw yourself into this pit.
It is a pit.
It is a pit. And it's got lots of snakes and pokey things, you know, because anything you say will be misconstrued at the very beginning.
It's like walking a tightrope with arrows being...
Exactly. So it begins with you. It begins with me first. And then as you forgive yourself for stupid things that you've done and things that you didn't understand or fully take the time to know how it works for somebody else, then once we learn that, then we have more grace, we have more compassion for someone else, and then that builds courage as well.
So we've kind of talked about this, but what are some of the major lessons you learned rebuilding this relationship or working through this estrangement that you would want to share with people that you think they should know?
Really become deeply self-aware. Know who you are and how you step into a room, because I didn't know sometimes just my presence triggered people.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is hard to hear, I'm sure.
It is.
Yeah.
But I am very introverted and I'm almost 6 feet tall, or I'm shrinking a little bit, but and so when I walk into a room, I have the perception that maybe I'm invisible.
You can't be at that height. No.
You can't be, but you inside your introverted brain, you kind of are, and you want to be like blending in with the wallpaper or whatever. So people would see me a lot more powerful than what I was walking in.
Right.
But interestingly enough, the more that I have accepted that power and now can walk into a room powerfully, then people don't feel that. So it was just a weird dynamic. But really become more self-aware, do the work, whether it's religious or spiritual, just spiritually know who you are, how you walk in, what you believe, what you want to express with those around you, because you may not want to express those things. I mean, there may be people in your family that you're like, I think we've learned what we needed to learn and
we're good.
But I didn't feel as a woman that I could become an even better person and woman without having a relationship with my mother and my sister.
Yeah.
And that came out to be true, because they have shown me things about myself, and I've learned things about myself that I could not and would not have without them.
Yeah, I feel like the things that have made me the most painfully self-aware have been, I say painful because it is painful.
Yeah, it is.
I've been working through stuff with my family for sure, owning a business, because you can't blame anyone else. You can't be like, my boss is so mean and they're making me do this. Like, no, that's you.
Yep.
That's your issues.
So accountability.
Yes.
Accountability across the board. Self-awareness, accountability, huge. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, and I think having courage to face that, and like you said, hearing those things. Yeah. Not everyone feels maybe up to that, but if you can rise to the challenge, it would really like help you elevate everything. Yeah. Everything. I think it's worth it. Yeah. And I'm actually an introvert too, so I relate to what you said. And I have felt that many times, and I don't know how many times I'll say yes to like going to an event or even speaking, and I get there and I'm like, oh crap, my energy does not, I'm all peopled out already, but you just gotta turn it on, and it's like, oh my gosh. Showtime. And then I go and, vegetate for a day or two.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing all that. I want to kind of shift gears a little bit and talk about your husband, Larry.
Yeah.
And that incredible love story that I heard a little bit about at the event. But I want to hear more about it, because I'm a sucker for love. And you guys have so much love for each other.
Yeah, we're going on close to 40 years.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's incredible.
It is. we met as like on a job interview. Like
Yeah.
he was working at the Charlotte Observer, and I had just been hired, and they're walking me around to introduce me to the other departments that I'm going to be working with.
Yeah.
And, I walk down and get ready to bring me into the promotions department. And he's leaning over this drafting board, and with his little bright blue eyes just, looked at me, it was like lightning bolts went from the top of my head down to my toes and then shot back straight up. My first thought was, oh no, this guy's going to change my life. I don't need that right now. I'm trying to get this career started, you know. And he had a similar reaction and let his coworker, which I think may have even been his boss, he's going to say, I'm just going to step back a little bit, but that's the gal I'm going to marry. And
that is so cool.
So
you guys both just felt like instant spark chemistry, like you just knew.
like we've been together many, many lives.
That is, oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So you guys met when you were working together,
Mm-hmm.
and then what was your first date? I feel like he talked about it.
He
But
did. It was awful. I said no to the first 3 dates, and then we finally did get to go out because we were going to go to a coworker's party or something. He was going to impress me and take me out to a nice dinner, but we were casual, and that was a time there was some swanky Italian restaurant down Monroe Road, which I can't even remember where it would have been, but they wouldn't let us in because he was wearing tennis shoes.
Oh.
And then we had limited time before the party, and then he ended up taking me to, a fast food burger drive-thru, which I didn't eat.
Yeah, you don't eat that. I remember him saying that.
It wasn't something that I did. So that's not the amount of money you spent on that first date.
No, obviously it wasn't that. It wasn't the whining and dining that hooked you.
Not at all. And we have lots of stories about how it should have just not worked out because of the sign, but it was all just a test of resiliency and helping us become more open and sharing things with each other. Yeah.
So you guys met, and then you got married.
Mm-hmm.
And then you started Spark Publications, correct? Is that like...
No. I started Preslar Design.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, talk to me about that.
So I was at the Observer working in their creative department, and we're married, and I'm pregnant. And I go on maternity leave, and I can't leave this child.
Yeah.
And so then I just decided to go ahead and start a freelance business. And so I started Preslar Design, and then Hurricane Hugo, and I needed a place to work because our house with a 2-year-old daughter at the time just didn't have any power for 2 weeks.
Wow.
So, but then the person that I went and had an office with, for that time, ended up becoming business partners, and we grew that, and 6 years later we not amicably we had a lot of trouble and had to separate, and so basically I got fired from the company I created with him.
What did you what did you guys specialize in?
Publications.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you started with that, and then I'm not assuming, I'm sure you took all that knowledge and from all that stuff that you talked about, and then when did you decide to team up with Larry and start?
Well, I mean, I went back to corporate environments and worked in, then a small independent business and was their general manager, and I was working really hard and not really wisely for all these different companies, and it was just time to come home because so many people were spending more time with Larry and my daughter than I was. So I just went cold turkey and started Spark Publications. And I wanted Larry to come on board because he's a creative director doing big magazines, and it was 10 years before he came. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because you had to talk him into it?
Or? No, I asked him, and we talked about it, and he said no, he had plenty left to do in his job in corporate, and he was just not ready to do that.
Wasn't ready.
But interestingly enough, 10 years, and the industry was changing, and he was no longer happy, and it was a huge sacrifice financially for my family.
I'm sure.
Yeah. And if nothing else, for the health insurance and
all the benefits
everything.
and
No benefits.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing you don't hear about a lot when you start a business. Like, you go from 401k match, all that stuff, to 401k, okay? Yeah, like, what?
So, so I hired him on board. I already had a team at that time, so it was easier to have him come on, and I was creative director at that time, and he stepped in as creative director, which allowed me to move into the president position and actually start building the company from there. So he was a huge asset to the company.
So how do you all balance working together, being married, being best friends, that's a lot of time to spend with someone.
Yeah.
How do you balance all that?
Well, first of all, we really, really, really like each other.
So that's good. So make sure you really like your husband.
Yeah, make sure that you can actually spend a lot of time with them.
Right.
And we have boundaries too. So like, I could talk business and do stuff like 24/7. He cannot.
Yeah.
And my daughter cannot. So there's rules as to when, sometimes I'll raise my hand because I have a brilliant idea and just have to talk through something. So I get permission, or they'll say, just give me a little bit of time or something.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's respecting each other's boundaries and talents. And so we have very specific roles within the company. And we also have our own time to do our own things. So that, one, we get to talk about what we've done, and two, we're just not in each other's face.
Yeah.
But we have less and less of that time sometimes, and still enjoy it. We just really like each other, which helps tremendously.
Yeah, so if you don't like each other, maybe don't go into business together.
No.
Maybe that's
I'm not going to ask why you're married, but that's
another
another thing.
Maybe that's their thing. I don't know. I'm not judging.
Not
just
judging.
saying.
Not judging. But there's a lot of respect there. And
I was going to say, I'm
love.
hearing respect.
Yes.
A lot of respect. And it sounds like you know how to stay in your own lane. And no. You're like,
I try to stay.
You tried to.
Yeah.
You tried to.
He's real good at it. I just like to mush everything together. But with the painting and other hobbies and other things that I'm doing, I've learned to separate from that.
Why do you think you're such a good match for each other? What do you think makes you such a good couple?
We love to laugh at the stupidest things, and we make sure we laugh every day.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't mind serving each other. So if he's just, I could just see his energy is just bad, then that's absolutely fine. I will bring supper to him. I will clean the dishes, and he does the same thing. So it's like, we have very definite roles in business, and in life, the role is make life happen the best way, try to laugh, be respectful, super loving, service-oriented, and be aware of where each other are.
I love that. That's awesome. So anyone listening, if you're trying to figure out relationships, how to make them last and make them work, that's some good stuff right there. I was gonna cuss, but I'm trying not to cuss on the podcast. Okay, so how has your love with your husband and all these experiences you've had with your family influenced you professionally? If you had to pinpoint a few things, what would you say?
I would say it helps me just be super clear and super genuine, and my personal boundaries, what I do want. I mean, the business could have been so much bigger, but there were things that were non-negotiables, and I didn't want to cross those lines. I didn't want to spend that kind of time away from my family. So it brought me clarity personally and in business, and also just realizing that there are types of people that I really want to work with, and others that I do not.
And that's okay.
And it's not just okay. It's like the reason for my business. We're here to serve, and if you don't wish to be served in the capacity that we can serve, it's not a fit.
We're not a good fit. We're not a match.
You are not going to want to work with me, and I'm not going to be able to work with you.
Yeah.
So, and just infusing that level of love in everything that we do and being okay with it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, speaking of love, I'm gonna ask you, what does Love Means Business mean to you? If I said that, the name of the podcast.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you?
I mean, business in the sense of the way things happen.
Mm-hmm.
So if love means business, then love is everything, and you're doing business within those parameters.
Yeah. Well, I love that. And of course, I love all your answers. We already knew that was going to happen. So. All right. So how can people get in contact with you if they want to connect?
I'm on LinkedIn, so if you just want to slide in.
Slide into those DMs.
Slide into those DMs. Yeah, don't put
Wait, not like that. No, not like that. She's happily
I don't even know what that
married.
means, but yeah, so LinkedIn, or go to sparkpublications.com, and we have a contact form there, so you can get me there. I have three Facebook accounts.
Oh, wow.
One for the business,
Yep.
one for me as a public figure, and then a personal.
So there are lots of ways to get in contact.
Yeah.
No excuse not to get in contact. And make sure you check out her new book. And you can get that on your website too, right?
It's not on there yet. We
Not
haven't
yet?
launched it,
Okay.
but probably by the time the podcast launch,
Probably.
or FabiPreslar.com /Wilted Worthy.
Okay.
It's also going to be on the radiantchapters.org website, because
Okay.
all the money that we're making on this book goes straight to Radiant Chapters.
I love that so
Collective.
much.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful. Well, thank you for being on here, and thank you everyone for listening and watching this episode. Make sure you subscribe and or follow us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify so you never miss a new episode of Love Means Business. And also make sure you're following us on social media, because we post a lot of great behind-the-scenes content and different highlights on there. Remember, love is a powerful force, and it can impact your life in many different ways. Never let the bad overshadow the good. Keep loving, learning, and leveling up. Till next time.